Hello, and welcome to the Born to Chat Shit podcast. I am your host, Wix, and
the big old Georgie boy in the mix.
We're so excited to start this podcast. I feel like it's been such a long time coming, but because we're such perfectionists, we have been waiting for like the perfect setup and like the perfect camera and the perfect mic. So we just decided to bite the bullet and sit down in our front room with the dogs and just make it a little bit more organic.
Yeah, I think the issue of us is that we are perfectionists. So if I want to do a podcast, it's got to be in a fucking studio. It's got to have the perfect mics, the perfect setup. Just start, and that comes with anything in life, doesn't it? Just fucking start. And like when I started using YouTube, you know, it wasn't about the cameras. I just started on my iPhone, whatever it was back in the day, and you just posted. And I look back at those photos and think they're fucking shit, but you know, you just advance over time. So who knows, maybe one day we might have a studio room podcast, but for now we'll sit here with the clock in the background.
That doesn't even work.
That doesn't even work. People do mention that in my YouTube videos actually. They say it doesn't actually work, George. I'm like, yeah, fucking no.
Yeah.
So if you are quickly watching this, then please tag us on your stories. If you are out for a walk or doing your cardio and you listen to this, we would love for you to share it onto your stories so it gets a little bit out there. You know how important those sort of things are for growth. And if you're doing your cardio right now, speed the fuck up, all right? And if you're doing a walk, quickly check someone's behind you. Like literally there's someone behind you chasing you right now. Imagine how many people turn around now and look to see if there's anyone behind their shoulders.
And imagine if they actually are and you just warn them.
I know. I could have saved their life, for fuck's sake. So
I think it might be really good to start the podcast with just introducing ourselves, because obviously there's going to be a few people that know us and follow us on Instagram or watch you on YouTube, but there might be some new listeners.
Yeah, why not? Go for it.
Why don't you start by introducing yourself?
Me? Oh, wow. So I never know how to actually answer these sort of questions because it's always like, I don't know, there's not much to say about myself. I sound quite boring when I actually think about it. I'm George. I'm 27 now. I am from Dunstable, but I tell people Luton because no one knows where Dunstable is.
No, you actually tell people London. When we first met, you said I'm from London. I was like, I've got myself a London boy.
North London. It's only about 30 miles North London, so it definitely counts. Yeah, been doing the YouTube game now for 7 years, something like that. Can't remember how long now, to be honest with you. A long old time. Obviously online coaching for a very long time as well, full time. And just a pure fucking bodybuilder, absolutely loves it, you know. I've come to realise that I just love this lifestyle, regardless of how big you are, regardless of whatever. I just love bodybuilding. And I love the routine of it. I love the discipline. I love waking up every single day. It complements my life, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I don't find like it takes away from my life. It actually complements who I want to be as a person. Because I'm not the type of person who gets up at 9 o'clock in the morning, right? You know, I'm fucking, being a bodybuilder in my head is like fucking up nice and early, even though it doesn't matter. But to me, it's like, yeah, up nice and early, get that routine in place, be a fucking proper bodybuilder.
7 a.m. is lying for you.
I know, I feel guilty for doing that half the time.
And if you were to say one fun fact about yourself, what would it be?
One fun fact. Fucking hell. I don't even know. What would you say one fun fact is about me then?
What's your party trick?
Party trick, helicopter noise.
Oh, could you want to do that?
A bike. I don't know if people want to hear my helicopter.
Yeah, they do. That's actually really good.
It's actually really good, isn't it?
Really good.
That's my party trick, actually making helicopter noises. Grow the fuck up.
Oh, grow the fuck up.
Go on, go into you then.
Oh God, how long have we got?
As long as you want.
So I am Wix. I am currently an online coach. I specialise in female health and just females in general, but my background is in medicine. So I actually graduated medical school last year, and about halfway through med school, I was like, I don't know if this is for me. I actually don't know if this is for me. I took a year out between my third and my fourth year of uni, and I actually went to rehab, which is like just a bomb on the podcast, but I think it's really useful to speak about. And I was there for 8 weeks, and I feel like I just learned so much about myself there. The reason why I went was because I did have an eating disorder, and after that I just realised I had so many other problems in my life that were just never addressed. And I remember sitting with my therapist once, and he was like, who are you? Why are you doing what you're doing? And I was like, yeah, I'm a medical student and I'm going to be a doctor and I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that. And he was like, yeah, but why? And I got to the point where I was like, actually, I'm just doing this to be a like dead ass people pleaser. It was nothing to do with what I wanted to do. Like, I don't want to work in a GP office, but I just thought I'd do it because every single time I did, I had people like post on Facebook how proud they are of me and all of these things, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I actually love sports because sports was my whole childhood. My dad was a professional sportsman, I was into gymnastics, and here I am, basically declining my junior doctor job and diving into bodybuilding a little bit more. I also am competing next year, so that's another part of me that I kind of do, and that's kind of what's drawn us together as well. Because I've never met a guy that's been so into training as much as I am.
Really?
No.
I fucking love that. Anyway, I think with Vicky, her biggest problem is that she's always been a people pleaser her whole life, and I think going into the medical sort of field, there's a lot of like expectations of you have to make your family proud, and if you don't go down this route, like, you know, a lot of your family members are in the medical sort of field as well. So there's an expectation, and there was a bit of pressure as well going down that sort of field, that you have to sort of please people. And, you know, you start to realise that actually, you know, that's not what you want to do. And I always say this to anyone, it takes a lot of bollocks to actually fucking say, look, I don't want to do this anymore. I actually mentioned one of my clients, Dylan, who actually just wanted to do something away from bodybuilding. And I said to him, fair fucking play, because there are many people that go down a life, obviously a commitment of doing something that unfortunately they're never going to get themselves out of anymore, and they're just in that fucking system of doing something that they absolutely hate because they're so committed to it. Now they've got a mortgage, they've got kids, they've got all these responsibilities that they can't fucking take themselves out of it. And I say to you as well, like, fair play for actually going, you know what, I don't want to do this, I'm going to do something else. That's really, really, I don't even know what the fucking word is. Admirable, that's it. I don't know if you can hear Diesel panting in the background, but he is the loudest fucker at the moment. You need to be quiet, Diesel, because we're recording a podcast. Sorry if that's in the background, but yeah, I find that very admirable. I can't fucking say the
admirable.
word. Jesus Christ, that you've done that sort of thing. So fair play.
Thank you.
And I didn't want to be an influence in that. I kind of feel like I have been an influence for you to decline that, even though I never want you to sort of like turn those opportunities down. I didn't want to tell you, look, fucking don't do this. But in a way, I do feel responsible in a way for telling you, no, fuck this off. Follow your passion, follow what you want to do.
I think you've had a bit of backlash when it comes to that, because a lot of people said that you persuaded me into doing that, but like, I am a grown adult. I can make my own decisions, and if George told me to jump off a cliff, like, I wouldn't do it just because George says. I think what I heard from George was what I was saying to myself for a really long time, but everyone externally was just telling me to, like, you know, persevere with it, and it's just a phase that I don't want to do it. And it was all of this talk pushing me into medicine, and then I actually had this person that knew me inside out and saw how much I was maybe not necessarily struggling with the job itself, because it was very rewarding, but saw how drained I was, saw how much it took out my life, and kind of said to me, like, look, there is another way to do things, and you gave me the courage to basically follow what I wanted to do. So even though maybe, you were an influence, you didn't like push me into it, you know, you didn't put a gun to my head and say, yeah, do it. But I definitely did have a lot of backlash, especially, like, my family was absolutely amazing, actually. They were like, oh, do you know what, like, this is probably great for you because you are such a caring person that you take everything home. But I had so much on social media where people are like, oh, you're gonna regret this, you're gonna like wish this time away. And I was like, I'm just out here literally living my best life at the moment. Yeah, am I, you know, going to be earning the same as I would as an orthopedic consultant? Actually, do you know what, I don't know. I might have a very, very successful business, and that's what I would love to do in the future. But that's not the purpose of life for me. Like, the purpose of life is not to earn a shit ton of money. It's to be happy and content and have the freedom of just being me, because that's one of the things I realized I couldn't really do in medicine. Like, I couldn't record a podcast and swear because it's unprofessional, and I couldn't really post like my bikini check-in pictures on social media because, again, it's deemed unprofessional. I felt like I had to hide a huge part of myself away, and now I actually just feel free. And I feel like we're going off on a tangent, but the main reason why we wanted to bring this podcast is because I feel like George has this amazing background in bodybuilding. Like, I have a completely different background in like being a goody two-shoes and being like in medicine, doing this and doing that. And we wanted to bring a bodybuilding style podcast in where we do talk about gym, we do talk about training, but also talk about life, because I feel like between us, we've had a lot of life experiences that people don't necessarily talk about. And And that's basically what we wanted to bring. So even this little tangent that we had, I think is really good.
Yeah,
and that's a little bit of an insight as to what we want to bring in this podcast.
It gives us an opportunity to just spend some time having a bit of a waffle, you know, because sometimes like you sort of like debate like how can I say this and that, but these podcasts you can just chat a load of shit and everyone listens and fucking everyone listens. So yeah, I think you've done the right thing. I feel like obviously when you go self-employed and you start out fresh, it's always a slow start. I remember when I started coaching, and for the first 6 months I was like really debating my whole life. But I just kept going and I just kept getting through it, and eventually, you know, you start seeing the rewards, and you know, 7 years later, I've never looked back. You know, I've done this full time now, and I've not had to feel. It feels like I haven't worked in a day in my life over the last 7 years. You know, because I absolutely love it, and that's what life is about to me. You know, it's not waking up and you know, I saw you when you was at uni, and you was going to placement, and you was fucking dreading it. You know, and you were trying to find ways of working around it. Let's be honest, there. You know, you're trying to find ways.
I was like, what excuse am I going to use today?
And in my opinion, when it comes to those sort of things, like you want to be putting like maximal effort into everything that you do. And they're actually enjoying it. Like, why do people go to work? I know people go to work and they just go for the pay slip and then come home and forget about it. But that wouldn't be me as a person. I'd want to go in and I'd want to be going above and beyond my payroll and do the best I can in the job role and impress other people and work my way up the ranks. But with your own business, with your own entrepreneur, whatever it is, you can do that. You know, you can work yourself up the ranks, and it's only you, and you'll be surprised with what you can achieve regardless of the money. Who gives a fuck about money comes and goes. It's always a vicious cycle with that, but it's the freedom, it's the happiness that it brings you to say, you know what, I'm actually waking up and doing something that I love, rather than it being a fucking chore.
And it's different for everyone. Like for me, that is freedom. For some people actually working 9 to 5, that's freedom because they can just have like weekends to themselves, because obviously being self-employed, you don't really stop working. But to me, that is better than what I was doing before. So this is not us trying to say like you need to go self-employed and 9 to 5 is, you know, absolute bollocks, because it's not. Like for some people, they absolutely love it. It suits their lifestyle, and that is actually like happiness to them. But George, shut up.
It is bollocks.
We're going to argue on this podcast.
Putting money in other people's pockets, being told what to do.
Because my mum's a teacher and she absolutely loves it. And I just feel like with whatever job you do, there is going to be challenges that you have to overcome. Like, even though I love what I do, I love the girls that I work with, I would not change it for the world. There are some days where it is hard and you do start doubting yourself, and you don't have that security as a self-employed person.
No,
like if you have clients leave, you're like, shit, what am I going to do next month sort of thing. But it's, you know, there's pros and cons to everything. Yeah. Now, we've got some questions. Do you fancy answering some questions?
Want to answer some questions? You want to dive into questions already this early?
I mean, we've got some, and I feel like they lead on to what we're talking about anyway.
Sure.
So, first of all, if you are not following us on Instagram, dr.wiks is my username. And George,
links will be in the bio. Just look at the bio.
Yeah. And George Osborne 12.
You'll find it all there. That's the easiest way to find this.
I'll speak for him.
We actually got some really good questions considering.
This is the first episode.
This is the first episode. So shout out everyone who is obviously asked a question. And as always, guys, if there's any questions you want us to answer, then that would be an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
I do, because obviously we're talking about ourselves, and I just feel like I've got a few questions where people are just basically leading on from that. So I think the first one is maybe give a little bit of an update as to where you are currently in your bodybuilding journey, because someone did ask how your diet's going, but for anyone that's not following us, then
go back like a year or so, or just where I am right now?
Just currently what you're doing right now.
Sure. So I don't know how many weeks I'm into a diet right now. It's probably beyond.
It's been a messy one.
It's been a messy one. It's probably been about 12 weeks worth of dieting, I would say, maybe longer than that, to be honest, which is usually a lot longer than what I usually would diet, but it is what it is. I started at 91.7 kilos, which was, I look back now, fucking Oompa Loompa, I tell you, with my bald head. And then I'm down to 78 kilos right now. So what's that, 13 kilos of scale weight dropped in probably 12-ish weeks or so, which isn't too bad considering.
Bear in mind we did have a 3-week trip away to Thailand during that time,
and I lost weight during that period anyway, so that's good enough for me. My plans are to compete next year, so I do want to wrap up this diet at some point soon, because I'm actually a lot leaner than what I thought I would be at this body weight. I'm sure you'd agree on that. And you know, you just got to weigh up the risks versus the reward of just keep going. Like, okay, yeah, it's great getting lean and getting leaner and leaner and getting shredded. Like, my mindset is, unfortunately, like, if I diet, it's got to be like prep mentality. That's what I've said before. It's like prep mentality, and I've got to fucking send it. If it's like a half-assed diet, I'm like, I can't be asked for this, you know. And there's no like end goal other than being lean, which, you know, 90% of my bodybuilding journey has been me being fat. You know, I've not really been lean unless it's a contest prep, to be totally honest with you. So I want to reverse at some point soon. I'd like to get down to 75 kilos, but that might not be the case. And then obviously,
I don't think it's needed.
Yeah, I don't know either. And then it's not okay. And then reverse into an off season before we hit 2025 season. So obviously completely different circumstances, obviously being assisted now rather than being natural. Obviously a small fish in a big pond. So my expectations, you know, for next year and competing is just do the best I can and just be the better version of myself. Obviously, I'm going to be up against people that have been, you know, using gear for years and years, and the reality of using gear for 10 years, you know, they're always going to have a lot more muscle mass on me. They're always going to be way ahead of the game, but I don't care about that, you know. What I care is about displaying a physique that I'm proud of, you know, which is clean, tidy, symmetrical, conditioned, you know, the typical Georgie boy. What are you laughing at?
You're answering all of the questions at this point.
Oh my fucking hell. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Fucking hell. Sorry guys. This is always what happens. I did that public talk the other day and I start fucking waffling about stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, actually, where am I going with this? You know? So yeah, I'm dieting right now, long story short. That is pretty much it. I'm coming towards the end now because I'm saying fuck this. Like, I'm getting lean, which is, I like it, but at the same time, I've noticed this week trim performance has been a bit going through the motions, you know, that sort of part of the diet where you're just going through the motions. It's not as enjoyable. So yeah, plan is to get this done pretty swiftly over the next couple of weeks and then reverse. You?
Should we? You?
How about you?
I am dieting as well. I feel like when we diet, we tend to diet together.
Yeah.
I did go up to a whopping 74.4 kilos in my off season, and I'm only 5'2", by the way, for reference. So I was genuinely like very uncomfortable in myself. I don't like to use the word fat because I know people are going to be like, you're not fat. But for me, I just felt very, very fat in myself. I have since dropped to, what's my weight now? 67. My lowest was
60. Your lowest is 66.5.
Yeah, my lowest was 66.5, but my body is just so stubborn when it comes to dieting. I genuinely really, really struggle to diet. I'm currently sitting around like 1,500 calories on a rest day, around 1,800 calories on a training day, obviously tracking everything, following a meal plan. The reason why I'm saying around is that I don't know the exact calories because I don't macro track. I just eat the foods that I eat every single day. And my cardio is 30 minutes every single day in the morning, and then I tag on another 20 minutes on my upper days.
Yeah.
So I'm doing pretty, like, quite a substantial amount of expenditure. Still not the highest I've ever done because I did way more in prep, but my body is just like not budging. So I'm actually at the point where I'm getting a little bit pissed off, and it's not because I'm not willing to do the hard work. Did that make sense?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it's not about that. Like, I actually thrive off that. It's when I'm doing all of these things, my training's going downhill because I'm starting to become so like tired, and my body weight isn't budging because I'm just like, oh, you know, like when you're putting this hard work in, you actually want the results to show, and I'm not seeing that at the moment.
And I think it could be frustrating because obviously you're around me who is able to eat a lot more food, is able to do a lot less expenditure, and you're seeing how my physique changes, which I can imagine for you is actually quite frustrating. Because I've always been that type where I've been able to do very minimal cardio, a decent amount of food. And I think I've realised with like, and this is working with, you know, over 1,000 people in my time now, is that some people need a lot of food to actually gain weight and they don't gain any weight at all. Some people can diet on a high amount of food quite easily. Some people don't need much food to gain weight at all. And then some people need very little food to actually be able to lose weight. And
I fall into the category where I need to push food high, but also push food low.
Unfortunately for Vicky, she's the type of person who, when she diets, she's just got to bite the bullet and eat low amounts of food, which is shit because there are going to be days where you don't see that scale weight trend down the way that you wanted to. Fucking hell, I put all that effort in and I'm fucking heavy, and the next day I felt really shit last night, and it then affects your day-to-day sort of life, doesn't it? You know, if you was like 2 weeks out from a show, then you'd understand like this is a part of being 2 weeks out from a bodybuilding show. But for you, in terms of where you are right now, it should be a piece of piss, but unfortunately you get to a point where eating 1,500 calories a day, it just affects your mood. Outside of that, your energy, your motivation, your sleep, you know, your desire to want to do any more than what you are doing right now. It affects that when it really shouldn't, and that's the issue with Vicky at the moment, which I can totally understand, especially with me, like being, you know, assisted now and seeing my physique change as I've got leaner. Like my body composition's just changed and my scale weight stayed the same. It's like a really big head fuck. I can imagine that's going to be even worse for you, because you're around that every single day and you think, fucking hell, he's leaner again and he's eating this and he's eating that. So I understand your situation. It's fucking difficult, and we still try and figure things out. We're trying to experiment with little things. We're trying to understand the body a little bit more. But Vicky, you are fucking complicated when it comes to this shit, I tell you.
I am.
Even I get confused, and I like to say I've made very good decisions towards a lot of your journey over the last couple of years, but I sometimes sit there and scratch my head over you sometimes.
Yeah, I don't feel like many people can actually figure me out. And do you know what? Like, I'm such I'm such a good coach when it comes to other people. Like, obviously people come to me usually when they are struggling with any sort of like hormonal imbalance, and they are literally like, I have tried absolutely everything and nothing works. So good at problem solving that. But when it comes to me, I'm just like so in my head about things, because of course, like, I can't just think rationally like, I do usually, but there are moments where my emotions do take over. I am a typical Cancer. I am so emotional. So yeah, I've just reached that point. And do you know what? I actually wouldn't say that like I'm triggered by what you're doing in terms of like how much food you're eating, because I actually don't have a high food focus. I think it's more so that like, I think you doing so well in your diet makes me realise like how shit I'm doing. Like, I'm still happy for you and I'm still so excited, because it's like, honestly, seeing George's transformation over the last 2 years has been amazing, and to actually be like contributing to that is absolutely awesome. But then it just kind of reminds me like, oh, do you know what, like you're actually doing a shit job here, which it can be disheartening. But I'm actually going to get my blood test done with Holly, Atlas Labs, tomorrow. So we'll kind of see where that is, because I am thinking possibly there might be some underlying PCOS going on there. But I'm just, just need some blood tests really. And then that leads on to the next question, which is, what are the competing plans, which you've already kind of discussed. We're planning to compete next year, basically.
But what about you then? Because I've obviously mentioned about me. What about you in terms of competing?
Yeah, I obviously compete. Well, I prepped for a competition in 2022, and I got to like 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out. My body was just not having it. Again, like the same issue where my digestion was really off. Sorry if this is like TMI, but I just genuinely wasn't shitting at all.
You go a week without shitting?
Yeah, I would go like a week without shitting, and I was just like, okay, something is not going on here. And I was like, right, my body's given up. I was a natural athlete at that point. I was like, I should not be driving my body into the ground. And I think a huge contributor of that as well was I didn't actually have an off season. I had like a 5-month off season before I decided to compete, and that was so stupid. I wish I took longer to actually grow, because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get shredded, like I'm gonna have glute striations and I'm gonna have delta striations. But realistically, you can only get as lean as, you know, your muscle allows you to. And I did have muscle. I'm very good at growing muscle. That's one thing I can say I'm good at. I'm very good at growing muscle, but actually, like, I just didn't grow enough to actually present a physique that I was proud of. And I'm a competitive person. Like, I'm so fucking competitive. And for me to step up on that stage, you know, when I was going against seasoned athletes, I was like, yeah, I'm just not doing that, because I won't make myself proud. So I took a step back, and
which was the right thing, by the way.
Which was the right thing, and I'm so happy with it. Initially, it was literally the end of the world. I'll do a podcast about this, because I know a lot of people do pull out of prep, and I think this will be something to really, like, so a good point to speak about, because it'll help a lot of people. But it was an amazing choice. I'm so happy with it right now. And I decided to move from natural figure to wellness. I'm not saying natural wellness, because I am no longer natural either. And I'm planning to compete next year, hopefully, if my body decides to actually cooperate with me. Again, if it doesn't, I don't mind actually taking a longer time off, because I love bodybuilding for what it is. Like, I love the growing aspect of it. I love the training aspect of it. I love the prep, but I still treat my diets like a prep anyway. So yeah, for me, it's no rush. I know when I actually do step up on stage, I want to present a physique that I'm proud of. And of course, I need to make sure that my body is in a good spot to do so, because an unhealthy body is not going to be a responsive one.
Yeah, I think you've just got, you've got to outweigh the risk versus the rewards there. Like in 2022, when you wanted to compete, the risk wasn't worth the reward. You might have stepped on stage, but at the end of the day, if you was not going to the toilet for like 7 days straight, that's a fucking huge problem, an actual huge problem.
Yeah.
And it's great stepping on stage and bring this package, but what have you got to deal with afterwards?
Yeah, and you don't see that in that current, especially when you're a bodybuilder through and through. You're like, oh my god, I've just got this goal, and this is just the hardship, and this is what I need to encounter, and like you almost thrive off the shitty situation. No pun intended. But I was like that. Like you do not need to tell me to like push. Like, I don't need a coach to motivate. I don't have a coach at the moment, and I don't think I will, but I don't need a coach to like motivate me to go do my cardio. I actually need someone to be like, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
Like, slow down. Because I remember there was a point where I was eating very, very little food. Like, I'm actually even embarrassed to talk about it.
Yeah.
I was doing like 70, 80 minutes of cardio daily. Like, I was like pushing. And it was great. I actually really enjoyed it, but my body wasn't enjoying it at all.
You've got to weigh that sort of thing up, because it's all good in that moment when you're prepping out and from a show, like 2 weeks out to, but it's the consequences afterwards. 2019 was a prime example for that for me. It took me 6 months to actually recover from that prep because I pushed it way too hard. And to be honest with you, I never actually fully ever recovered, because when I compare how I felt before that prep to how I felt during that time after I recovered as well, never felt the same again.
Yeah.
Felt like and that's the problem with the natural preps, in my opinion, is that you can push your body too far, and the problem with pushing your body too far is that you're going to affect things long term, and there's no way of getting back. So I think, especially hormonally, like, I fucked myself over hormonally when it comes to the natural prep, especially the first one that I did, and I don't think that's ever recovered, if I ever was.
I think you just got to fuck yourself hormonally either way, whether it's natural or not natural.
Yeah.
So,
saying that now,
laughing,
he's fucking taking exogenous testosterone in at the moment. Brilliant. But yeah, it's true. So, I think in that sense, your goal next year for Vicky, in my opinion, is your expectations are actually zero. Yes, you are a competitor who is very competitive, and you will bring a physique which doesn't look like a first timer, like fucking PCA wellness. Half the fucking girls competing in that look like fucking shit. And I can say what I want. This is a podcast about chatting shit. I can say what I want. It's absolutely embarrassing. They need to do something about that. You're not going to be that type of person. And the thing is, you just need to put your expectations down a little bit, because Vicky's mentality is, okay, I want to be competing in the IFBB Pro League by the end of the season. No, the first season, I look back at some of my photos.
That's not true. Don't put words in my mouth.
But that's your standards. You're like,
yes.
That's your standards. And reality is, like, everyone's been through a first season where they look back and think, fucking hell, I looked fucking shit.
No, I know that. But obviously, in the back of my mind, I would love to do well. I know my first time competing is just going to be my first time competing. It's just going to be getting feedback and then coming back better. And then I know the second time I compete, which is not going to be the year after, I'm going to take a long off season again, is going to be the time I do aim for that pro card. Because another question that we had is, what are the goals, like, long term? And for me, that is to turn pro in wellness in the IFBB league. So I get what you're saying, and I do think that was my mindset a while ago. I don't think it's my mindset now at all, to be honest with you, because I know that my expectations need to be low. Like, I know I love it. I'm an ex-gymnast, so the whole routine aspect, I like literally flaunted myself in a little one piece. I did that from a young age, so all of that I know that I love. It's just it's hard setting a standard for myself and not achieving that, which I think I will find difficult.
But it's fine, I've lost more shows than what I've won in bodybuilding, and I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. I'm not really.
I was going to say,
generally I am like fine with it. Like, especially the first season, like a second was an overachievement for me in all my shows. That was a high achievement. But the same time, like if I won everything in my first year, I would not have the same drive as what I have right now, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, I'm very good at saying that to myself. Like, I'm very good at telling other people, like, actually your failures are what make you, successes aren't really. And I am a strong believer in that, but I do need to be very honest with myself. I do not want to do shit.
Vicky's great at giving advice, but when it comes to actually taking her own advice, she's fucking useless at it.
I'm probably the best person at giving advice, especially when it comes to mindset.
Yeah, when it comes to mindset. But
we'll do podcasts about mindset, and you'll listen to that. You'll be so inspired. It will literally be motivation Wiccavelli.
Wiccavelli. She's preaching all this shit. I'm like, yeah, take the fucking advice yourself, Vicky. Come on now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our goals for next sort of year in terms of competing. Shall I ask a question?
Yeah.
In terms of that, because
I get worried though when you ask questions. I just don't know what will come out of your mouth.
Okay, well, there's one about out of all. Yeah, go on. Let's go ask some Paulina, your client. Out of all your meals, which one is your favourite and why?
Oh, easy for me, oats.
Oats, yeah.
Oats. Supplement needs. Like, what was it? Protein fusion,
milk
that
chocolate.
digests so well, milk chocolate. Then we add a little bit of honey, 100 grams of frozen blueberries, and Manny Life peanut butter salted caramel.
It's the first time I've ever had honey in my life like that. You know, I've tasted honey before, and I've had honey like Cheerios, for example, but actually honey on top of oats. Oh my god. So
I love honey. I feel like honey is like a Polish staple, to be honest with you. We add honey in tea. We literally add honey in cottage cheese. That's another amazing one. We actually did buy Polish honey, which is like pure organic honey. And we came back home after a weekend away. We had ants everywhere in the house. So now we just stick to Rouse.
Yeah, I had an ant fest. Right, we know this is good honey. The ants are fucking attracted to it. So yeah, that's our favourite meal.
And it's the same one.
And yes, the exact same meal. I absolutely love it at the moment. I can't, for some reason, like in my off season, when it comes to oats, I can never handle it when food is really high. But when I'm dieting, oats are like my absolute fucking staple when it comes to dieting. Absolutely love it.
There was one for me. It said for Vicky.
For Vicky. I don't even know. Anyway, let's move on from that because at the end of the day, when we're on here, we'll be quiet on a podcast and people will be like, is it playing or not?
Yeah, it's still playing, guys.
This one's jokes. What 3 guests are you having at a dinner party, past or present?
3 guests?
Yeah.
I've got mine.
Go on then.
# Brady.
# Brady. 3. That's 1.
Okay. I thought it was 3 between us. Oh, # Brady. It will have to be Justin Bieber because I'm a believer at heart.
Right.
Sorry, George. I cried when he got married to Hailey, but let's skip that part. And I need to come back on the 3rd one.
Do you know what mine is? Mine 3 are.
Leona Lewis.
Absolutely no one.
Oh, great.
Because I couldn't think of anything fucking worse than sitting there awkwardly around a table with like Ronnie Coleman or Dorian Yates trying to eat food. I just want to eat food in fucking peace. I don't want to have to, oh my God, I'm sitting next to Ronnie Coleman. So the answer is absolutely fucking no one. Because at the end of the day, I can't be asked doing that. I just want to chill out. I want to enjoy my food. I don't want to make an effort talking to people. All I just want to do is just enjoy being in the moment with the telly on, watching some YouTube or watching Love Island, wherever it may be. I don't want to talk to Ronnie Coleman about his past. I don't want to make an effort. I don't want to sit around people. You know when you have to sit around people and make an effort?
If I, for whatever reason, get invited to have dinner with Ronnie Coleman, you are not invited.
That's fine. I'll just chill with the dogs and watch Love Island. I'll be fucking absolutely sound with that, guys. Tell me, if anyone's listening to this on YouTube or on social media, whatever, tell me people aren't the same like as me.
No, I do like to have food like quietly. We don't like big parties, do we? We're just very like, even though we're extroverts, we're introverts when it comes to like things like that.
We travel from Stoke to Birmingham, which is an hour, to pick up sushi. We could eat in the restaurant. The restaurant's a very nice setting. It's quite romantic. It's nice. It's got some nice Thai music in the background, if that's a thing. And we rather... Is it Japanese? Oh, shit. Sorry. And we'd rather take the food home with us and sit with the fucking dogs and watch the TV. That's what we do. We're in our own space. I get to wear my pyjamas. I haven't got to make an effort dressing up. I haven't got to be sitting around people that are like... You know when couples sit there and judge you when they're eating?
Yeah.
And they come out and they see all our sushi and they think, fucking hell, they're going to eat all that. Yes, we fucking are.
And we come in our Crocs, like an oversized jumper, a dog walking coat, which is covered in mud. And
then Diesel's sick outside the shop. And we have to get some water and fucking pour water over it so it just goes away.
That actually did happen.
Yeah, it did. Fuck that. So
that's
my answer to that because...
Oh, do you know what I just remembered? Do you remember when we were in Birmingham and you had a subscriber that came to see you? Listen to this story. So I'll just set up the scene. mean. It's a lovely evening in Birmingham. It's December, all the Christmas markets are out. We go to Birmingham, of course, to get our weekly sushi during our off season, and we're walking. It's quite busy. It's in the area where they've got the big Christmas tree. And Diesel,
just outside the ballroom.
Just that, exactly there. And Diesel just looks very unsettled. He's squealing, and George sees a subscriber. You know, a guy comes up to him like, "Oh, I watch your videos, mate." Like, "Oh, this is always so exciting when people do this." By the way, if you ever see us out or see George, because most likely you're going to be seeing George, say hi. He loves it. Anyway, back to the story. Diesel starts to become very unsettled. He starts to squat. And when I tell you, the most violent diarrhea I have ever seen comes out of his arsehole. That is exactly what happens.
Just imagine chicken tikka masala.
Yeah, chicken tikka masala in the middle where everyone is walking. I'm like, I can't pick this up. And to be honest with you, I think they already had a couple of shits, so we didn't have any poo bags left. And then what happened was the guy was trying to take a photo with George. I was recording for YouTube. This was literal mayhem. And I think if that doesn't summarise our family in one story, I don't know what does. Yeah. It stank as well. It was awful. And then we were like, okay, we're just gonna have to leave this. Like, we poured a little bit of water on it.
And then we came back and someone's walked through. You could see a footprint right through the shit. I was like, brilliant. Love it. So yeah, basically we just admit we didn't pick up the dog shit. But you can't, when it was chicken tikka masala, what are you meant to do? Pick it up with like fucking my bare hands? No fucking thank you. Let someone else, let nature do its thing and let nature come and eat it. That's what I say. So yeah, that was brilliant. And Matey Boy wanted to have a photo with me, and I was like, okay, well, Dee was shitting it in the middle of things.
So just give me 2 seconds.
There's people around me, you know, looking at me like, "Oh, you're gonna pick up your dog shit?" And Matey Boy was trying to ask me for a photo. Yeah.
And I get really awkward in these situations. I have like major anxiety, so I just started walking off, pretending I don't even know George.
Yeah, and I'm standing there with a dog with a posture like fucking nobody's business. Biggest German Shepherd I've ever seen, having a shit in the middle of the ballroom. Yeah, that was funny. That. How do we get onto that? I don't even. Oh, sushi. Speed down in
favourite meal.
Favourite.
And we like no, actually, I complete
about
3
the guests.
people. Yeah, 3
guests.
people.
Fucking hell, this sums up this podcast. To be honest with you, us talking like that. So, yeah, when it comes to eating with anyone, fuck that. I couldn't think of anything worse when it comes to that sort of thing. Short story on how you guys met and how the first date or two went.
Short story is I saw George on a post that one of my friends put up on Instagram, and it was from New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Eve, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was New Year's Eve.
And I was like, and he was him topless, you know,
bucket hat on, and
I just thought, what a twat. But I was just like, you just look so cheeky, and I was like, I fancy you, and I followed you, and then I start. If you heard a sudden pause there, it's because the camera died on us. So
no, it just fucking overheated because it's about 40 degrees outside today. Oopsies. Fucking shit country.
Oh well, but we continue. The question was, how did we meet? So yeah, saw a picture of George on Instagram, thought he's a cheeky chappy, followed him. Then I started wanting to vlog, and clearly that's not gone very well. I've been so inconsistent with my YouTube, but George dives into my DMs and he's like, yeah, you should use this camera. Yeah, and I was like,
come on.
Okay. That was literally it. And then George started trying to message me.
Yeah, he took age. I was going to give up on her because she fucking took like a week to reply. I was like, fuck this. Like, if someone's taking a week to reply, even a couple of days, like they're clearly not interested. That's how I saw it. And eventually you started replying, and then we met up, didn't we? The first ever time we met was actually Ultraflex Rotherham. So I was like, right, I used to live up in Barnsley at the time. I used to train at Ultraflex, and I said, why don't you come up to Ultraflex and we'll train legs, of course. And then that's the first time that we met. I remember I pulled up at my car, pulled up to your car, sorry, and you was just about to get out, and I put my window down and pulled a really funny face at you and just aired me off. And I thought, oh, this is going to go really, really, really badly then when I first met you. Yeah, I did. And you aired me right off. I thought, oh, fuck, she's way too serious for me. She ain't getting my personality already. And then
I don't think I saw you.
I walked into the, you did, I don't think you did, but I thought you did anyway. And then I walked in and I saw you sitting down, and I was like, right, how the fuck am I going to approach this? I don't know how I approached you that time.
You were so serious, and I stood up and I gave you a hug. I was like, hiya.
Oh, was you?
I was like, hey.
Yeah, and
I thought you were like, I was literally like, why is he so fucking moody? I was like, does he see who he's training with?
Oh, come on.
I was literally like that.
And then I thought he was a little bit shy, to be honest with you. And then I remember hitting a PB on the Cybex hack.
You did, yeah, and so I did as well.
Yeah, I was like, I know she's the one if I'm hitting a PB on the Cybex hack. It was a good day for that. I was like, I can't bottle it.
And I knew you were the one when I actually got shy, because I don't get shy. I don't get intimidated by absolutely anyone. Yeah, I will chat, I will just be myself, but I was actually shy around him, and I was like, well, this is a little bit strange. And I think both of us went into that training session, we weren't looking for absolutely anything. I was like, I'm just literally going for a training session with a guy I've been chatting to. That's literally it.
It's always the case, because I wasn't looking for anything in terms of that point in my life, but you always find that when you look for something, it never actually happens, and then when you don't look for something, then something actually happens. So definitely for us, it just clicked, and we were like, right, okay. And I think I knew you was going to Dubai for a couple of weeks. So I thought, right, before she goes and marries an Arab man, a rich Arab man, I've got no hope with.
That was literally the way they asked me out.
Let's just quickly seal the deal. So I was like, you know what I'm going to ask you? Let's seal the deal right now. Because when you're 20, I think I was 25 at the time or whatever, 24, like, do you ask people out anymore? Do you go, will you be my girlfriend? Like, I thought that was a school thing.
No, it's not. But at the same time, you were so like weird when we were talking. I was just like, does this guy even want me? And then I was just like, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to crack on with my life. And there was a time where I was just like, so what the hell are we?
Yeah.
Then you were just like, I remember you saying, all you need to be concerned about is I like you. And I was like, what a cop-out. What a cop-out answer.
But the reason I was saying that was purely the fact that, you know, I wasn't rushing things, because I don't believe, like, it will happen at some point. I remember you telling this, or like, it will happen at some point. Just because we're not exclusive or a boyfriend and girlfriend doesn't mean we're not going to be. You know, let's not dive into it, because we was enjoying our company. We was enjoying the time that we had together. And I was like, why are we going to rush this when we're enjoying the time together? So let's just take our time. That was the reason why. I agree
with that. I think that's a very mature way of approaching it.
See, I'm mature sometimes.
But I didn't like that at all, because I'm just like, I don't like wasting my time. And I was just like, okay, I like this guy now. Like, we're either exclusive or I'm just going to crack on, because I was so good by myself as well. I was like thriving in uni, was doing really well in uni. I was living with Mango at the time in my house that I just bought. I was just like, and we were doing long distance as well, bear in mind. If this was like
45 minutes.
Yeah, an hour 45 minutes drive.
On a good day.
On a good day. Yeah. And I was just like, am I going to be spending my weekends with this guy if it's not going to be anything serious? No. So that's why I asked. And I think that's very valid.
Yeah, it is very valid. And I just thought, fuck it, she's going to Dubai for 2 weeks. That could easily, you know, make or break us, to be honest with you. So it made us. And then,
he was obsessed with me at this point.
And then, of course. And then that's where things happened. And that's where, you know, we started seeing each other more and more, and I started moving my stuff in more and more, kept seeing you more. I noticed I kept coming to yours more, and started bringing more stuff with me, and I was like, fucking hell, I've moved in.
Yeah, you did. There was no official like conversation of, are we moving in together? And it was very early on into our relationship as well.
Yeah,
we
were
together
6
for
months.
6 months.
Yeah.
And George just started like bringing more stuff here, and he was like leaving stuff. I was like, hi, I think you left this. And George was like, yeah, no worries, I'll pick it up next time. And then next time he just leaves something else. I was like, right, okay, I think this means he's moving in.
Yeah, so that's how it happened, and then obviously we've not looked back since, really, in those situations. So yeah, that's kind of how the first sort of couple of times we met and sort of got off on things. And I know you had a naughty boy shoot, didn't you, the next day after I met you, and then we saw each other again, and it just kind of came a bit like that, didn't it? Fucking hell. So yeah, that was how we met, and it feels like fucking ages ago now when I think about it.
But it's actually not.
It's like, what, 3 years now?
Yeah, 2.5.
2.5, yeah, nearly 3 years. So,
nearly 3 years.
Yeah, fucking time goes by quick, guys. So yeah, just make the fucking...
Still no ring on my finger.
Yeah, but I mean, like I've said to you before, and I'll say this on the camera, it will happen, very similar to the relationship. It will happen at some point, right?
Oh, what a cop-out.
It will happen at some point. Why am I going to go, oh yeah, I'm going to marry you on this particular day at this particular location?
I might say no.
Yeah, you might say no, but like, well, I'm not going to tell you when I'm going to do that. It's just going to either happen, you know? So that's how I see it.
It's funny because you get so wound up.
Yeah, I do get wound up because it's just like, shut up, just enjoy being in the moment, enjoy where we are, you know?
I'm doing wife duties without being an actual wife.
I'm doing husband duties as well.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm doing more than what I should be doing.
Yeah, he is my personal cook.
I reckon there will be some tit for tats on these podcasts as well over the next couple of episodes.
Oh, 100%.
That'll be super funny. If you guys are still listening or watching this, then obviously please do tag us on your stories and share it, and also let us know your fucking thoughts, because often I ask for people's thoughts on stuff and I get no feedback. I'm like, okay, fucking brilliant. Like, I don't even know if it's working or not. So if you do enjoy these styles, and if there's anything you want us to cover a little bit more of, then please do so, and we'll happily do that, because like I said, like we said to begin with, you know, I'm open to talk about whatever, whenever. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, this is an opportunity for me to just be myself and like chat shit. You know, I've already chat on PCA wellness. I'll continue doing that more. So and I don't care. Like, no one's going to stop me from doing that. That's what I believe in, innit? And Have strong opinions, guys. Have strong opinions.
I think we both do. We both do. And I think what would be really good as well is to have individual podcasts. So if you guys want to just see something from George, ask him about it. He'll do a podcast by himself. I'll do a girly girl chat as well for all my girly girls out there.
Hi, girlies. Oh, I hate girly girls. Hi, girly. Oh my God. It reminds me of my fucking sister. It actually makes me cringe a lot.
Shout out Becca.
Yeah,
I love Becca.
But it actually makes me cringe.
She's the best sibling.
Like, oh my fucking God. Like, fuck off with that shit. Oh, it winds me the fuck up. Anyway, on that front, what else have we got to cover? What's the plan for the podcast moving forward?
Plan for the podcast?
Yeah.
Just carry on weekly episodes.
Yeah, one a week we'll do. One a week. And let us know the perfect sort of times, like 30 minutes, 45, an hour. Probably people want to do more than 30 minutes because I guess they do their cardio and it kills a little bit of time listening to this sort of shit. So yeah, obviously let us know the perfect sort of time and that will be greatly appreciated. But yeah, we've got some cool things coming over the next sort of month or two, hopefully. We've got our release of the Borne coaching jumpers.
Heard it here
which is exclusive to the podcast first. We've not announced that yet. We just put the order in. Always a little bit like, well, how many shall I order? Because you don't want to order 100 and hundreds and then fucking 10 people buy and you've got like fucking 100 fucking jumpers in your house. So how the fuck am I going to get rid of this? So we bought an amount that I think people will purchase or like the look of at least. And you'll find that out probably either on the YouTubes or the podcast or even Instagram as well.
Yeah.
And a few other bits that we won't go into just yet, but you guys will definitely like what we've got coming at some point very soon, which is very, very unique that I don't see
just don't blab it
anyone.
out.
Yeah, you need to keep your mouth shut.
I know,
Vicky.
I do. I'm so bad at keeping secrets.
I'm terrible at keeping secrets, to be honest with you, but I'm definitely going to try my best to keep this one a secret. And yeah, you know, content, YouTube, Instagram, the reels on TikTok as well. Just did one about Pure Gym, which has got a lot of shit in the comments for, so roll on that. That was funny. I still read through the comments now and people saying, it's a good gym, isn't that? Pure Gym's a fucking shit. If you're training one of those gyms, get out of those gyms right now. There's only a handful of only okay ones in the country. I don't care what anyone says. And yeah, I think, you know, just keep doing what we're doing. These sort of things, you know, add more out there. And hopefully you'll listen and watch this and be more invested into us. And ideally what my goal is from these podcasts is like, you're just sitting there just listening to your mates, you know, like you're just a part of like the friendship group, if you know what I mean. And you can just sit there and relate and,
part of
you know,
the team.
Yeah, you can be part of the team, part of the family.
Oh, that's another thing people can comment. What should we call our family?
What should I call a family? I don't even know. Well, yeah, give us some ideas on that as well. Fucking hell.
That would be funny.
But yeah, I think we'll round it off there. I think that was a good first sort of podcast. Obviously, these will get better the more we do these. But for a first attempt, I think this ain't too bad, to be totally honest with you. Minus the camera fucking overeating twice.
We'll work on that.
We'll work on that. But today's a very hot day, which doesn't surprise me. And we're only getting used to this sort of stuff. So we're excited. We're excited to bring this out and obviously be on the lookout for more to come. And as always, guys, is there anything you guys want to see, just let us know and I'll happily do it. And Vicky, I'm sure, will happily do it.
No, I will be absolutely forced to do it.
I'll have to talk to her. Vicky, do this. Actually, this will be a really good idea. No, I'm not sure because I don't know what people are going to say. Just do it. You know? Just do it.
Things don't change. So, we're like yin yang. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for listening to this podcast.
Or watching.
If you're on YouTube.
You can watch me scratch my bollocks right now. There we go.
You were doing that earlier and I was like, Jesus Christ, George.
It's just a natural force of habit.
I kept on tapping you. I was like, stop scratching your balls.
Sorry, guys. You probably saw that a few times anyway. Probably saw me puff on the vape too many times as well. But yeah, lots of love, guys. And as always, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Peace. Fucking peace.
Fuck you.